how I wish I had more to say here. Because this is a really good season of Dexter. The best one that we've had since looking at Season 7. This is a very good season. I just wish I had more to say about it, but again, it is another one of those instances where it's just very self-explanatory. But I can tell you right now, it is absolutely worth your watch. It's not great, it's got some baggage, it's got some problems, but as far as Dexter seasons go, this one is really good. So let's talk about it in my final overall season review before we move on to the episode-by-episode shorts of Resurrection. AKA, we are almost done with Dexter-Ly. So what's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mr. Station, where such a fan thing, everything, including TV and movies, and especially a serial killer of killers hiding in plain sight as well. I am your host, Jackson Small, your local horror nut and massive Dexter fanatic. Welcome to my review of Season 1 of the prequel series known as Dexter Original Sin. Now, when I heard that Dexter was getting a prequel, I immediately rolled my eyes like probably anyone did. Because there are some things that you just don't give a prequel to. For example, the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That did not need a prequel. And the prequel itself was so bad that it almost made the remake itself worse. Dexter is another case where I feel like it did not need a prequel. We had a bunch of flashbacks all throughout the original Dexter series that gave us more than enough context for things. But I was still willing to give it a chance because there are instances of there being good prequels out there. It's rare, but it is good. Orphan First Kill being the first one that I can think of off the top of my head in recent years. Like, that, Orphan First Kill, that's a damn good prequel. This is also a really good prequel, but it's got some issues. So, this is going to be probably one of my shorter Dexter reviews because there's not really a whole lot to say, and me trying to go in depth about it, I'd kind of just end up saying the same things over and over. So instead, it's going to be a short and to the point one, just like with New Blood, but it's far more positive, I assure you. Even if I may or may not sound super positive, trust me, my thoughts on this are mostly positive. If you have not seen Original Sin, definitely check it out if you are a Dexter fan. Here's my review, I hope you enjoy it. It shouldn't have worked, and yet it did. Dexter Original Sin Season 1 does a great job of recapturing the feel of the early seasons and has plenty of its own admirable strengths, but not without some baggage either, and it's still not quite great. Like, it does a great job at recapturing the feel of those early seasons, but it is not on the level of quality of the early seasons, aside from maybe Season 3. I'd say this is probably about on that level. But with Dexter overall, that still puts it on the higher tier. Patrick Dempsey is excellent as the young Dexter, along with a very strong cast of aged-down supporting characters. Like, they are all really good here, and you could tell that Showtime took the time to actually get people that understood the source material and understood their characters. Dempsey is a really damn good Dexter. Like, yes, he's no Michael C. Hall. He never will be. But as far as being a younger version of this character, he does a damn good job. And then everyone else also does a really good job here. Like, the acting, it's still as great as it's always been, even with the switch out of actors. The tone is perfect. Again, it feels like early season Dexter. The runtime is still shortened at only 10 hours instead of 12. Seriously, thank you. Thank you, Showtime, for sticking with the 10-episode thing instead of going back to 12. Greatly appreciate it. It makes these a lot easier to watch. The pacing is solid. It's not perfect, but it's solid. Like, after you get through the first episode, which is a little rough, it gets mostly consistent from there. Kills are really good, they're on screen, they're brutal, they're bloody, they are exactly what you expect them to be. And one death in particular that, even though I knew it was coming because of the original series, it still shocked and disturbed me just how they portrayed that death in the shipping container. It was pretty freaking gruesome. The runtime is I already went over the runtime, I'm sorry. I'm going backwards. And it's got some pretty solid rewatchability. And again, that is mainly because it is 10 hours instead of 12. However, the storytelling is still a bit hit or miss. It's better than New Blood, but it's not by much. Christian Slater, as much as I like him, was just okay as the young Harry Morgan. They made some decisions with Harry that left me a little bit confused, not to mention, as most prequels do, they love to retcon shit, so some of the retcons that they did I was not a fan of, and other ones I'm like, okay, you're setting up decent ideas for a retcon, let's see where it goes. But Christian Slater himself, as much as I like him, and I do like him, he is a very good actor. I don't know, something about it I just couldn't really quite buy as much as I wanted to. Writing still has some dumb moments. This is still Dexter, and this is still, like, late season writers Dexter. So you're still going to get some very, very dumb moments in the writing that make no sense. And like most prequels, it gives answers to questions that nobody was asking. And it just makes things more convoluted. That's the big problem with prequels. They always love to give answers to questions that literally no one asked. Like, how did this happen, or this happen, or how did this lead to this? Like, that's the problem with prequels. They always think that they need to over-explain a ton of shit just to make themselves feel more relevant. It's dumb, it is overplayed, it has happened way too many times, and this is no exception. To be fair, it's not one of the most egregious, terrible examples of it, but it is still... It's still there, and it's still a problem, just like pretty much every prequel. Overall, though, I genuinely really liked this one. And like Cody Leach, a part of me hates that I like it this much. Sure, it's not quite as great as the franchise's highest of highs, but for what sounded like a terrible cash grab idea on paper, they turned it into a win. It's not a home run, but as a Dexter fan, I was satisfied. It's a solid base hit. I don't know why I'm making baseball analogies. Oh well, we'll just roll with it. It is worth a shot for the fans. And that's why my final verdict for Season 1 of Dexter Original Sin, if my hiccups can go away for a second, is going to be a 7 out of 10. It is a really good season of Dexter, it's a nice return to form, and it's the first good Dexter season we've had in a while. Okay. And that's it. That is going to wrap up the overall season reviews for Dexter-Ly as we move on now into Dexter Resurrection, which, as I've already stated before in previous videos, I'm just going to do the same way I did my anime episode reviews for Lazarus. I'm going to do it as quick to the brief, 1-minute shorts that go over my basic thoughts and don't go into too much detail. Yeah, we're done with the season reviews of Dexter-Ly, but we're not quite done with Dexter-Ly. At least not yet, because I think there's going to be at least, 3 episodes by the end of this month? Maybe 4? I don't know. But regardless, that's going to end the season reviews of this marathon, and I just want to say that even though we've had a bit of rocky areas here and there, I'm still really happy that I got to talk to you guys about one of my favorite shows. Like, I'm serious, I fucking love Dexter. Like, for all the dumb bullshit that some of its seasons did, and how many times the writers continued to fuck it up, I still find myself going back to and being satisfied with all those old seasons. Those first 4 seasons, and Season 7 to an extent, are still really damn good. And I can see myself rewatching Original Sin almost as much as I rewatch Season 3. In fact, maybe on rewatch it can overtake Season 3 because I'm not the biggest fan of Season 3. I'm kind of in the middle on it, as you saw in my review. But since this is the final overall season review for this Dexter marathon, that does mean that I do need to give you guys my final ranking of every season. And since I don't really have time to do its own separate video on it, I'm just going to put it up here, because overall, with all 10 of these seasons ranked against each other, it would look like this. With the Abomination of Season 8 still on the bottom, along with Season 6, and then New Blood kind of just hanging out at 8th, and then season 4 still at the top. So, yep, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for watching all these reviews. It was a blast to talk to you guys about Dexter, despite this channel's name being Animation Station. But I appreciate that you guys are so supportive of me branching out into live action a little bit more. And until we meet again, I'm Jackson Small. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review. Take care, my fellow psychopaths.
Decided for what comes up ahead.